John Spain here. And if you've been following me and watching many of my channels, you know I do a lot of reels. And if you've been watching them, thank you so much for that. Now, a few people have reached out to me and asked me how I go about doing them. And I use a piece of software called CapCut. And it's a free software to use. There's a paid version, but I use the free one. And I'm using it on a Mac. Not that that's particularly important, but so I'm going to take you through step by step exactly what I do to create my reels. So first of all, this is the CapCut main screen, and all you need to do is create a new project. And so this is what you're presented with. And first of all, you need to import some video clips. So I tend to carry my cell phone with me all the time, and whenever I want to run something off, I just do a quick clip. And it can be me talking, it could be me seeing something around the place that I think could be a good background, and then I could use that to put a voiceover on some other time. So, keep your phone with you, and when things crop up, it could be all kinds of things. It could be stormy weather, it could be sunny weather, it could be a particular event, it could be all kinds of things that often you can, once you've got that bit of a video clip there, then you might think, oh, that will just fit into something that you're doing. There they are there. And I think I need, once they're here, if you click on them, you'll see a little plus comes up, and that allows you to click them and pop them down the bottom here, which is where you work on them. And I think the sequence that I want was that one, then that one, then that one. So I need to, because it always puts them where this is. So I just need to move them around. It's just a matter of dragging them to move them around. Okay. And up in here, you can see that these three clips are around about 47 seconds in length. Remembering that if you're doing a reel that you want to move across from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok to YouTube, they need to be around about maximum 60 seconds long. Short is fine, but for shorts or reels, it tends to be 60 seconds maximum. Now, down here, you can see that these little white lines are where I've been talking. And at the start, when you start recording, there's kind of like a blank before you say anything. Now up here, there's three little symbols. This one means split there. This one's means split and delete everything to the left. And that's split but delete everything to the right. So if I come in here, because remember, we're always conscious of time, and just come in here and split and delete everything to the right. So when I play that, so you may have noticed I'm talking straight away. And likewise, I can come down here and just split it there, but take everything to the right. And on this one, before I start to talk, just trim it up a little bit to make it as short as possible. Do the same here. And this one. Generally, I do one video at a time, but it just happens on this one. And it's entirely up to you. You can play around with this. There you go. So if I play that in its entirety. So you may have noticed I've been doing lots of reels lately. And if you've been watching them, I really appreciate that very much. And thank you for doing so. Now, a number of people have asked me how I go about doing that. So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to give you a demo of how to do that. And of course, the first thing to start with is we're all carrying our phones around, is we need to do a short video, whether it be just holding the phone like I am now, or depending if your phone has the option, you could even use some kind of dual view. So you can actually see yourself on one part of the screen and you can show the viewer what you're looking at, which just adds a little bit more interest to the video. So whatever option you choose is entirely up to you. Just give it a go. You may be pleasantly surprised by the results you can get. Okay, so there's that would be fine for a short reel. Now, one thing that's vitally important to do these days, obviously, firstly, as it's a reel, notice the ratio here is there's a little ratio button here, and so the ratio is 9:16. Now, if you did a video and it was 16:9, so horizontal as opposed to vertical, you could bring it in here and then just enlarge it to fit that square if you wanted to convert it from a horizontal to a vertical. But for ease of use, when you're using your phone, just hold it up horizontally, vertically rather. Right. Now, the next thing is we want to have captions, because these days a lot of people are watching reels in an environment where perhaps they can't have the sound going, or if they haven't got earbuds or something, and so you want captions. And in CapCut, it's just as simple as coming to text and auto captions and generate. And there we are, they're there. And so if I move, wherever I move, this is what part of the video clip you're seeing. And so if I move it on there, you'll see it's automatically put the caption there. And that's a standard system font, which is a little bit boring. So what I always tend to do is come in here and show, and I tend to like to use all uppercase type fonts, because it means you don't have to go through and put capitals. If you use one of these, for example, you can see everything's in lowercase. And so sometimes I would go along in there and put capitals and that kind of stuff. If you always use an uppercase one, you don't need to worry about that. The other thing is notice that it's, depending on the background, sometimes the text can be quite hard to see. So what they have in here is a number of variations, and you can tweak these yourself, but you'll see that, for example, often yellow is it stands out really well. There's red, there's blue, there's a whole lot of different varieties, and there's also solid backgrounds, which is another great way of making your text pop. So perhaps we'll choose that one this time, but I'm not that fond of red, so I can just come down here and you can see that's where the background color is. So I could come in here and choose any color I like, and I might say use green instead. Probably because the text is white, I could use a darker green. There you go. And as I move along here, you'll just see that the text changes. Now, I normally take the opportunity just to nip through these and make sure that what I'm saying makes sense. So, because, the auto captions is picking up your voice and converting that into text, it makes mistakes. So always make sure that you just have a little look through and make sure what you've got in there is actually correct. So you may have noticed I'm doing lots of reels lately. And you can also see it up here. As I click here, you can see it up here. If I'm watching them, I really appreciate that very much. So just here, it's come up with something which doesn't make sense. Of course, the first thing to start with is rule. And the next line is carrying our phones around. So let me just play that there. With is rule carrying our phones around. So what I actually said is as we are all. And then over here it said carrying our phones around. Okay, so that's actually what I said. So if I just play that again. Is rule carrying our phones around. So as I said, just check these to make sure that what it's come up with is exactly what you want, because once you've finished it, it's too late to change it. So one other thing that I do like to do at times is you can come here and you can put it full screen, and that just allows you to see a little bit easier how it looks. So you may have noticed I've been doing lots of reels lately, and if you've been watching them, I really appreciate that. So I won't go through all of that now, but that just helps you to read this thoroughly and make sure that it's right. Now, you may also notice up here that when I chose the colors and the font, I had apply to all set, which means every single one will be exactly the same automatically. If I'd like to come along and change some of this, and I noticed here, I was showing that's covering up a lot of what can be seen. So what I might do is untick the apply to all, and for these last ones, just move that a bit. So move that up. And just move that up. And this little blue line is telling you how it's centered. So if we just play that little section again to the video. So whatever option you choose is entirely up to you. Just give it a go. You may be pleasantly surprised by the results you can get. So you can see it just moved it a little bit. And likewise, if you wanted to, now that that's off, you could perhaps come in here and decide that if you wanted to emphasize something, you could just come in and say change the color of that background for a moment. Perhaps we decide to make that one, oops, we select it. We might decide to make that one yellow. Oh, no, we want it a bit darker. There you go, we'll make that one orange. And we'll make the last one orange as well. There you go. Let's just change those last two. And you can play around with these as much as you like. Now, the next thing that I would strongly recommend is that at the start of the reel, you need a piece of text like a title that will catch people's eye immediately. And to do that, you just add text and plus, and it'll pop it here automatically. And you can see that literally right from the start, that text will be there. And at the moment, it just says default text. And we can move that, say, up here. And now we can type whatever we want. And if you can't think of something, you can use some of your AI assistants, like whatever platform you're using with AI, and just explain that you're creating a reel about this subject. Can you give us a really good title for it? And likewise, I do exactly the same thing to add the description. So I might ask it, can you give me 5 possible titles for a reel about this? And when it does, I might say, well, I really like number 3. Could you write a description that I could place onto YouTube for option number 3? And it'll do that for you as well. So, you know, these technologies are at our disposal. We might as well take the opportunity to use them. But of course, always read what it's done and make sure you're happy with the content it's created for you. Because remember, it is your voice after all. So say, for example, we may use something like simple reels that anyone can do. And obviously we want that more visible. So we'd change the type of font we want. Perhaps we can use that one. And we'll make it pop, make it a bit brighter. I think we might need to put a background color. There you go. And perhaps we'll change it from white to, there you go. That sticks out a little bit more. And so when we play the reel, that will be there straight away. So you may have noticed I've been doing lots. And so that generally, sometimes on Instagram, you can actually use a cover, and you can, if you wanted to create a cover, you can create a cover here. But for the likes of YouTube and Facebook, it doesn't recognize covers. So if you have a piece of text immediately there, it generally is what people see, certainly sees it. They'll certainly see that when they play the reel, but generally it will actually make that visible so that anyone can see that straight off. So it kind of automatically creates a cover for you if you put text at the start. So this is something to try and get someone's attention and stop them from the scroll and to look at what you've got. And if you want to, you could also add a call to action at the end here. So I could do that just by copying that, dragging bar down here and pasting it. And so we might say, thanks for watching. Oops. And perhaps we'll do that. Oops, we might move that one down to there. Perhaps we can put that one down there, and not going to compete. Oh, that might compete with the other text. Yes, it will. So we'll pop that there. And because that text is orange, we might change that one to be different color. Let's change that one to be, there you go, make it green. Okay. There's your call to action. And we're pretty much done. The only final step that I tend to do, you can bring in stickers and things like that if you wanted to. If there was a particular comment that you wanted to attract someone's attention with, you can bring in stickers. And you can see all these here. It would just be a matter of clicking on one of those. Start with is rule popping that in, and you'll see a sticker would appear there. That's what it looks like. And you could change that to any size and pop it there. So if you wanted to do that just to make a point at the time, if we played that, of how to do that. And of course, the first thing to start with is rule. There you go, the sticker would pop up. So I don't want to do that this time, but just so you realize that's an option that you've got. What I will do though is we'll add an audio. And it's just a matter of doing something that you think kind of works with what you're doing. This is a demo, so perhaps what's a bit much. And of course you can come in here and type something. I'm sure you could look perhaps there. Now you'll see that this one is miles too long, but we just come along here and just shorten it. And the other thing to think about with the music is the volume, because at the moment, if we play that, you may have noticed I've been doing lots of reels lately. And if you've been watching them, it tends to override what you're talking about. So I just bring the volume back. I normally bring it back somewhere between 20 maximum, perhaps a little bit less, depending on how loud it is. Just check in with it. Appreciate that very much, and thank you for doing so. Now, a number of people have asked me how I go about doing that. So this is what I could be a little bit louder. Going to do now, I'm going to give you a demo of how to do that. Of course, the first thing to start with. There you go. So with a few simple steps, you've created a reel. You've added some video clips together, or it could only be one if you want it to be. You have brought in the captions and just tweak them to make sure that they're okay. You've added a catching subject line, and you've had a call to action, and you've brought in some music for the background, and you're pretty much ready to go. Then it's just a matter of coming up to here and hitting export, giving it a title, and it'll save it down to your computer. What you could do if you was doing a video, for example, and it was of a waterfall or of waves crashing or something like that, so that wasn't actually you talking, you could do exactly what you've done, but you could come in here and you could record your voice and do a voiceover, and you'll just see the voiceover appearing down here, and then you'll just add music and that kind of stuff to go with it. So if you want to do that, that works very well as well. So that's why I was talking about keep your phone. Well, most people keep their phone with them anyway. And if they see something that they just think that might be interesting, they could do a quick video clip and then pop that into a reel later. So I hope this has helped. As I said, the final step is just to come to export, give it a name, reel demo, and literally that will be copied to your computer very, very quickly, and that'll go to your downloads folder. So you may have noticed I was doing lots of we'll cancel that. So there it is. Easy and simple to do. I hope you enjoyed it. Have fun with this, because it is fun. Once you get into doing this, you'll find you'll be able to knock them out really, really quickly. And I look forward to seeing some of your results. Take care.